Hello, my dear friends. It's Melody with Design by Melody. I am here on this Stash Kit Saturday. There we go. Using my Stash Kit number 2 for 2017. And I apologize for the way that the mat is lined up on my screen. I usually try to make sure the grid lines are even, but for some reason my iPad must have been tilted because it's like slightly wonky. It bothers me. I hope it doesn't bother y'all. But now that I've pointed it out, it probably will. So I'm sorry. All right. So I've got this 5x7 photo of Kaylin and Ernest, and I love this photo. Like, love it, love it, love it. It just shows their like style and attitude to a T. These are like two peas in a pod. They're the same. They're just like 30 years difference in age. But excuse me, every time I start talking, I start coughing. So I hope this doesn't last very long. I've got a sinus infection. That's what has been up with my headaches, by the way. Sinus infection. Finally was diagnosed with that. So anyways. So I'm working with my stash kit here with this photo, and I knew from the very beginning that I wanted to use this chipboard flag, and it said not feeling it, but I stamp, the stamp set had a little box that says here and now, so it says here and now, feeling it, because it's totally, like they were feeling themselves. They thought they looked good, which I think they're kind of cute, so I guess it was warranted, but, and then I wanted to use the gray alphas, and I was going to put too cool for school, and then I ended up changing my title to just too cool ... And I'm pulling out all the papers from my stash, trying to figure out what I want to use. And I really think I want to use this gray. I like this background pattern. And I really like the thought of putting a white square right in the middle of it, and this square was actually cut off of a white piece of cardstock that I had with the kit from the very beginning. I had used it for a border around a layout, so I always cut out the center if at all possible. I just like to do that. It conserves my paper. Now if my top paper is flimsy or something like that, then I won't do it, but this one was not flimsy at all, so I went ahead and just had cut out the center of that white cardstock to use it later, and it makes my kit go by so much longer. Not go by so much longer. It lets the kit last for a lot longer. If you need to conserve your supply, or maybe don't have access to as many papers, I know it's very difficult to get pattern papers in certain countries, so if you're in one of those places that it is difficult to do that, do this. This is what I'm talking about. I'm going to cut out the center of this gray paper and conserve it. Now I actually could have cut out probably about an inch more on each side. I was being a little bit conservative, I suppose. Instead of really, I could have, because I left a 3-inch border around the edge, and I really only needed about 1.5 inches around the edge. So you don't have to, I definitely could have cut it quite larger. As you can see, I have a lot more on the back. And what I do is I just adhere all around the white, and then I go to the back and I just tape around my hole. I don't like there being gaps on the back of the paper, so I just tape around the hole that's left in there. Now I just finished up that roll of washi tape, as you saw, and I have, we get washi tape a lot in different kits and different things. We buy them on sale. We get them with sets of 3 or 4. I don't love every washi tape that I get, but I keep it and I use it, and I use it for things like this, like the ones that I don't love. I use it on the backs of layouts, or I use it, I don't know, to tape a card shut or something like that. I use my supply. I may not use it on a layout, but I will use my supply. I don't throw away anything. I will do racks. If I have duplicates of things, I will share, or if there are things that are just aren't my style, I will do a giveaway, something like that. But I do not waste any supply. I do not throw it away. I try to keep every little bit. As you can see, I have all these little tiny cuts of paper off to the side, mostly border strips, sometimes just edges of papers. I keep everything and I try to use it. So, off my soapbox there, I feel like we pay for it. Why not, make the most of it? And you never know what you will use later, like this little not black and white, yellow and white strip of paper. I don't know that I thought I would use that, but you know what? I'm using it, and it fit perfectly on this layout, and I'm going to use a couple yellow elements on this page. Also, I have this 18-inch ruler from American Crafts, I believe. I got it at Tuesday Morning for maybe $3.99 or something. Love it. It's great. You could go diagonally across the 12 by 12 sheet of paper, or you can, as you saw what I did, use it across the center just to kind of make sure I have something lined up properly, because it extends past either side of my 12 by 12 paper, and it's just easy. Oh, I love that. I love it. Now, I would make sure that you store it flat, because for a long time I was storing it up kind of like on its end, leaned up against something, and it bowed a little bit. So I would definitely suggest storing it flat, because otherwise it will kind of bow. Which is fine. You can still use it. I just like things to lay flat. Going through all the supplies in my kit, you guys, if you've been watching my videos, you are very familiar with what is in this kit. And as you can see, I still have a ton left, even though this is the 10th layout that I've made with this kit, and I still have a ton of supplies left. I suspect I'll probably get a good 15 layouts or so with this kit. That's just what I think. I don't know. I haven't done them yet, but I suspect I'll at least be able to get 5 more layouts. I think I'm going to run out of paper before I run out of supplies. That's for sure. There are a few things that I've used up with this kit, but not much, actually. I've used a lot of supplies, but not whole packages of things. So I will definitely be running out of paper before I run out of just about anything else, especially like these washi tape. I have 6 rolls of washi tape in there. I'm going to have washi tape till the very end. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. True to my normal fashion, whenever I'm working with a kit, I try to go through all of the supplies that are in the kit. That way I can kind of find out what works. I pile things up kind of on the side that are possibilities. Like you can see that yellow label that I put. It's a different yellow than the yellow striped paper, so I wasn't sure if I could use it. It's more of a mustardy yellow than that bright sunshiny yellow. So I am putting it right here off to the side just in case. I'm also using these photo corners. Now they are blue on one side, but I'm just going to use the back side and make them white. This layout is a little bit more of a monochromatic layout, I suppose, with pops of color. So there's going to be pops of yellow, there's going to be grays, blacks, whites, and a few pops of teal. And that's it. I'm really trying not to pull in a whole lot of other color. I just like the feel of this layout. It's a very cool feeling layout to me. Not girly, but just kind of cool, and it shows it's very cool tones in it, and it shows, their attitude. That pop of yellow is kind of like a little bit of their attitude that you can see. Now, these white photo corners are a very, very subtle element that I'm adding, but I just like the dimension that it adds to the corner of those photos, and you can see them in person. You can't see them quite as much here on the camera, but you can definitely see them in person, and I like the effect. I had glue on my scissors. So if you ever have glue that gets stuck on your scissors like me, I mean, this happens all the time to me. Just like you would take an eraser and erase off on a piece of paper that had glue, like stuck to it. Use your eraser on your scissor blades. I think you can wash them as well, but I'm lazy and I didn't feel like going to the sink and washing them. So I just used the eraser on the scissor blades, and it worked just the same. Just a little tip for you, the lazy girl's tip, just in case you guys have that problem. I'm adhering my alphas down. I love these alphas. They're perfect for Project Life and also perfect for a 12 by 12 layout. I have now, thanks to Denise, she's my shopping buddy from across the U.S. She turned me on to these, and then now I'm addicted. I buy them if I see them. Tuesday Morning has been carrying them a lot here recently. So when you buy them for, what is it? $1.99 or 99 cents. I think it's 99 cents a pack. I mean, you cannot pass them up. I mean, seriously. But there are a few that, oh goodness, sorry, knocked my camera. My hair's a little flyaway, by the way. I keep seeing little strands of hair come into the screen. I'm sorry about that. I have hair issues, as you guys have probably heard me talk about. My hair gets a little crazy. It's naturally curly, and then I straighten it sometimes, but sometimes it's just like straight up wild. Alrighty, so what am I doing? Okay, we're looking at tags here. So I had these grand ideas of using these tags off to the side. I wanted to use the back side of one, though, to have it be white, and then I'm covering up the words on the other one to have it just be white with a gray border. Again, I'm kind of going for the monochromatic sort of style, and going to do my journaling on here as well, just to kind of see what looks good. And I always see people draw their journaling lines. Um, I'm a little OCD though, and I feel like I need to measure, which is so not the case. I love though how effortless some people make the drawing the lines look. And then I'm like, okay, I could do it. I could do it. I could do it. No, I can't. It doesn't look right. That's like, these are like, excuse me. Ooh, I'm sorry. Those are like the thoughts that are going through my head. You could do it. I could do it. I could do it. It's okay. I could do it. And then, like, as you can see, I think I've done it. This is now like the 4th or 5th time that I've done this. And then you're going to see me totally ditch this effort here in a moment and just go a different route because it's just pissing me off. It's not working. So one of the stamps that I have in the kit has a tag on it though, and it has some dotted journaling lines, and I'm going to stamp that out and do my journaling on there instead. Just see how like, I even put it on here. Like, look at this. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. The tags seem really big for me. And that's the other thing. When a tag is bigger than the person in the photo, like it just looks weird to me. So I'll tell you what my journaling does say though, and it says the same regardless of however it ends up. But it says these two are like 2 peas in a pod, attitude and style both on 100%. I like adding ribbon to my layouts. Now, would I add ribbon to my layouts if I didn't have a million spools of ribbon in my stash? Probably not, because it's probably not the first thing that I would go for. However, because I have so much ribbon in my stash, and I literally probably have hundreds of spools of ribbon in my stash. A lot of them are these small American craft spools, but they're just enough to have a couple, to do it on a couple layouts, which is perfect. But if I didn't have, sorry, I lost my train of thought. If I didn't have quite so much ribbon in my stash, I probably wouldn't put it on layouts, but I absolutely love the way that it looks. It's just not the first thing I think of. And I really like adding small little bits of ribbon like this to where it's it's part of the layout. It's not an addition afterwards. It's part of the layout. It gives that yellow striped paper a place to rest. The darker, it's like a arrow or chevron type ribbon. And I just kind of cut the ends to match or to go along with the chevron. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. This is that stamp that I was talking about where I am doing my journaling lines, and there are little like check boxes, open boxes on there. So I just covered that up with a little bit of washi and then stamped it. So I only am getting the journaling lines, and they're just dotted journaling lines. And then I'm going to put it on top of this teal paper that has numbers on it, and I'm creating a tag. Now, whenever you cut off one side of the tag, if you want to make sure that the other side is completely even, just cut the corner off, glue that other corner on top of the other side, and you'll have a completely even tag. And then I'm also using the back side of that, which was a black and white stripe, which goes right along with my color scheme here. And I just lined it up to the teal tag that I had just made, and then I just cut around it. Now I am going to punch some holes here and make my little hole reinforcers. So the way that you do that is you punch a larger hole out of white paper, and then you punch a hole out of the middle of that. So this is like a 1/4 inch, I believe. And just put glue around the outside of that circle. Otherwise you're going to punch through the tape or glue that you put on it. And then I take a smaller hole punch and punch the center out. And I'm just using my crocodile, I believe is what this is called. My We Are Memory Keepers no, I think this is eyelet. I think this is an eyelet punch. Whatever. It has punches, and then it also has where you can set eyelets. There we go. And so it's got a very small, like maybe 1/8 of an inch circle punch. And so I'm just making little miniature tags, and those fit the layout, the scale of the layout so much better. I liked how the first one looked, and I ended up being okay with the journaling lines, sort of. I was going to work with it, but I don't like the size of that journaling tag. It's just too big. It doesn't fit well on the layout. I'm going back and I am adding some enamel dots, and these are from Rosie's Studio, I believe. They were sent to me by my dear friend Angela, so thank you, Angela. And I have sprinkled them a few places, and they're just a real vibrant teal color, but they also have a little bit of glitter shimmer to them, which is really kind of a nice element to add. I like these labels or these tags but the black is just really, really bold. It's the most bold thing on the layout with them on there, so I'm taking them off. They're just too much. They're black glittered chipboard pieces, and I really do like them, but they're just too bold. If they were a slightly what do you call it? Slightly duller, I suppose, and not quite so bold, it would look better because it would match the black of the ribbon. It would match the black of the tag that I made, the little miniature tag that I made, but it's just too bold. It's too much. Now I have this gray star that I'm playing around with, and I think I might add it up here at the top next to Too Cool. And as I continue to go through my stash, I'm just trying different things. Or not my stash kit. I'm just trying different things. Also have these puffy stars. There's a couple of yellow puffy stars here. It's a slightly different yellow though, so it doesn't coordinate to me. But I'm trying. I'm going to see what I can make work. And because these enamel dots aren't the stickiest, all I have to do is move them. I am going to have to glue them down with a little bit of Tombow Mono once I'm done with the layout and done moving them around, because I do keep moving them around, as you can see. And I ran out of the small enamel dots, but I just moved one from my bottom cluster up to the top and then put the bigger dot there off to the side. It's sitting on top of the pattern paper, so it almost needs to be slightly bigger to add a little bit of that contrast. And then it also, because it's at the bottom of the page, I feel like it adds a little bit more weight to the bottom of the page, and that just seems a little bit more balanced to me versus having it at the top next to the title. Now this sticker book has these yellow arrows in them, and they're a real bright yellow, and they match that yellow and white striped paper. It's yellow with a white outline in the middle, just like this teal one is. So I'm going to take a few of these arrows and add them right here at the bottom, and then I have the yellow one up here by the title. And this is one of the final elements that I'm going to add to this page. I'm just going to go ahead and adhere a couple of things down, but these arrows really kind of complete it for me. I have a little bit of stamping up there on that chipboard thing that I had made at the very, very beginning. It's funny sometimes whenever I go to sit down and make a layout, different thing. I think my layouts start differently every single time. Sometimes I start with a photo like I did here. Sometimes I start with a title. Sometimes I start with a piece of paper. Sometimes I start with a stamp set that I want to use. Sometimes I start with an embellishment that I want to make sure I can include. Like, I start different things, and it's really it can be hard to explain why I chose things, because I choose different things every single time. I don't have the same process. I really try to just go with what my gut feeling is though, and not overthink it. When I overthink it, I'm not happy with it. When I just go with my gut feeling, I love it. Like this one, totally no pressure whatsoever to make this layout. It just really kind of came together. Now I know I'm sitting here looking through additional things to see if I want to add anything, but I'm completely happy with the way that this layout looks right now. It's just because I'm working with a stash kit or any kit really, I try to make sure that I go through all the remaining supplies just to make sure nothing else would fit and coordinate, because sometimes I've talked about this before. I could be done with the layout probably halfway through and be happy with the way it looks. But if I push myself a little bit further to try to add a little bit more, usually I'm very happy with the result afterwards. So I just try to always make sure that I look a little bit more, see if there's something else I want to add. And the last thing I did was stamp that Everyday Magic stamp right above those teal arrows, and that completes the layout. I hope you enjoyed today, and make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can see all my new layouts. All right, guys, thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.